Today I'm going to talk about student engagement. Why is student engagement so important? It is all teachers' worst nightmare to look out at your students in the middle of a lesson and see glazed over expressions and a lack of motivation to learn. Student engagement is increasingly viewed as one of the keys to addressing problems such as low academic achievement, boredom, and high school dropout rates. Studies have shown that motivation has been shown to explain up to 1/3 of the difference in students' achievements. So what that means is that in about 30% of cases, students who are more motivated achieve academic success at higher levels than their peers who are less motivated. So we already know that student engagement is important, but so often I hear my fellow teachers saying things like, "My students are just not motivated," or "How can I better engage my students in the learning process?" Today, I want to talk about the ARCS model. This model was developed by Professor John Keller. This model uses the 4 characteristics of learning, attention, relevance, and competence and satisfaction to increase motivation for students to learn. This model was created to construct classroom materials that motivate and engage students. Keller is considered a pioneer in the field of motivation, and the ARCS model has been successfully used worldwide. Attention is the first step of the ARCS model. Attention refers to the strategies used to stimulate and maintain curiosity and interest. There are 3 specific strategies that I'm going to talk about here. The first is perceptual arousal. Perceptual arousal taps into the sense of novelty or surprise. An example of this might be to put out a mystery bag that contains items relating to your lesson or unit. The next type of attention getter is inquiry arousal. This type of attention getter provokes questions and thoughts and gets the students to dig deeper. An example of this might be one that I used in a rock identification unit. I started the unit by presenting the class with a problem. NASA scientists needed help organizing rocks that they have collected. The scenario gave students real-life context and gets them to start thinking about questions and wondering how they're going to solve the problem. The last strategy is variability. Variability thrives on the concept that students enjoy being exposed to a wide variety of tasks to reach learning endpoints. To keep students engaged, remember to change it up from time to time. Relevance. How many times have you had your students say, "Why do we need to know this?" Or better yet, how many times have you thought this question when you were in a class or professional development? Relevance is a key point to consider when we strive to engage our students. The content needs to relate to our students' experiences and connect to their background knowledge. When you are planning your instruction, you need to put yourself in the shoes of your students and examine if your lesson plans answer the question, "Why do I need to know this?" If we plan relevance into our instruction, our students will not be asking these questions and they will be engaged in the process of learning. Confidence. Confidence plays an essential role in learning. The more confident a student feels about their ability to learn, the better they are going to learn. In order to build confidence in the classroom, we have to provide our students with opportunities to be successful. The more they succeed, the more they will perform tasks related to the material. Instructional practices should strive to increase student confidence. Here are some simple ways we can ensure our students are set up for success. Implementing these strategies will increase students' confidence. Make sure when you are planning instruction to have clear learning expectations. Students feel more confident when they know exactly what the expectations are. Rubrics are a great way to let students know what they are required to do. The next strategy is to make sure that instruction includes successful opportunities for all students. This means making sure that activities are appropriately challenging. If a task is too difficult for students, they will not be engaged and likely perform poorly. If you have units with complex tasks, you can scaffold the learning by breaking them down into smaller, more manageable tasks. This will increase student engagement. Satisfaction. The final component of the ARCS model is satisfaction. Satisfaction with course materials will increase when students are rewarded for success. There are some strategies that teachers can implement when planning instruction to increase student satisfaction. When students feel that they have accomplished a job well done, they will most likely feel a sense of intrinsic motivation to continue learning. Teachers can foster intrinsic motivation through providing constructive feedback and praising students' improvement. Extrinsic rewards are also very motivating. In my own classroom, I try to focus more on intrinsic motivation, but there is a time and a place for extrinsic rewards. I have had some students in particular who thrive on extrinsic rewards. These extrinsic rewards do not have to be big or elaborate. It can be as small as a sticker chart. The student can earn a sticker for each component of the unit that they master. Finally, it is important to consider equity when planning your instruction. This refers to making sure that throughout your unit, the standards are consistent. It is important to be consistent in your evaluation of mastery because making changes to the standard or giving students the impression of inconsistencies can confuse students and disengage them from learning. Now that we've learned all the components of the ARCS model, you're probably thinking about how this all sounds great, but how am I going to implement these ideas into my own classroom with my students? I like to apply the ARCS model when I am planning my units and lessons. As I'm planning, I not only think about the standards and what I want them to learn, but I also try to think about how I'm implementing attention, relevance, confidence, and satisfaction to maximize student engagement. I have also found it helpful to go through some of my existing units that I have already planned and make essential modifications to better implement the ARCS model into those units. As I have done this, I have found great success in my own classroom with increased student engagement, and I hope that you can successfully increase student engagement in your classroom as well. Thank you for listening.